Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the BEDS-SU Student Elections results presentation, the results hour, the results night. It's a bit different this year, of course. We are all, I think, at home or somewhere safe, I hope. We aren't in one of our SU venues. We don't have loud music playing, and we don't have everybody in the same room nervously awaiting the results. So things are going to be a bit different this time. You're going to have mostly my face and the results presenting to you. So to introduce myself, my name's Mark McCormack. I'm the CEO at BEDS-SU, your Students' Union. I'm a member of staff at the Students' Union, and I work with the wider staff team and, of course, with the elected executive officers and student volunteers within the Students' Union, of which the big news for these results nights today is that we're meeting to find out the results of who will be those executive officers next year. So first of all, I want to give a really big welcome to everybody who's watching. And first of all, to say a really big thank you to everyone who's participated. I've got a few more thank yous to give as we go through, but as we'll announce in a moment, we've had really great student engagement with the election, and it's great to see students taking leadership in their Students' Union, putting themselves forward to represent other students, and of course even turning up to vote and making sure your voice is heard in your union is just really, really important. So who are these executive roles that we work with? Well, first of all, there are 4 roles. They are full-time elected roles. They're paid roles. They're paid to work for students, all students at the University of Bedfordshire, for a full year. So they're really important roles. And actually, considering the year we've just had, we've just gone a year since we went into lockdown. This past year has really shown why student representation and a strong student voice is so important. Students' lives have been turned upside down, just like everyone else's lives. But the way you've studied, there's been changes to the way your course is delivered, changes to your living arrangements. You've had a lot of uncertainty. And of course, it's not just about studies, it's about what's going on alongside studies as well. These elected roles are your voice throughout your whole experience. It's not just your course, it's also about how you engage with your course and what's going on around it. So they're really, really important to ensuring that you're represented. So if anything stresses the importance of these executive positions, it's the year we've just had. We're also going to be outlining the results of the NUS delegate positions. So the National Union of Students is the national representative body of students in the UK. And BEDS-SU is an affiliate member. So we get to send up to 4 delegates each year to their national conference to take part in the national decision making. And over 2,000 students have voted in the NUS delegate elections as well this time round. And so we're going to be giving those results out too. A bit of a note about some of the results we're presenting today. We're not going to go into the minutiae, the real detail of vote, specific numbers of votes in each round of voting. The reason for that is because we only have so much time, and it could be a very long presentation if we did that. So we're going to give you the headline results for each campus with each round of voting when we get there. So it should be clear to you how the votes are counted and how the results are progressing through our new election system, which I'll explain in a moment. But for those who really want the detail and want to delve into the minutiae of things, we'll be publishing all the results online. We'll make them available to the candidates as well. So I mentioned we've had some changes this year. First of all, we elongated the process. The voting period was open for much longer than it usually is. And we also changed the way we count elections. So we're counting by campus instead of all students get to vote, but we're counting at a campus based first, and then depending on how many votes you manage to get at a campus level, you then get a certain amount of points, which are then added together. Now, these 2 initiatives are all so that we can improve the inclusiveness of the Students' Union and its elections. You know, we know that a lot of students don't turn up to campus or don't engage with their studies every day of the week. Some students are working in full-time jobs, or they have other things going on in their lives alongside their studies that mean they can't dedicate attention to it full-time. And so we thought, well, if we're going to have voting over a week, that might be exclusive of some of our students. And so we opened it up for 3 weeks. And as you'll see in a moment, that's had a really good impact on the number of students voting. And we've also seen our changes to the way we count the votes in campuses motivate a real turnout across the campuses. We've seen some campuses increase the number of votes that they had on last year by 400 or 500%. So we've seen some really big changes in how some of our less traditional campuses, some of the newer campuses like London Bridge and Birmingham, we've really seen the number of students engaged in our elections improve there. We have had an elections committee who've helped oversee this election, and really we can't run the election without them. And they are elected and appointed students who give up their time to oversee the running of the election and support our staff in the administration of it. So I just want to give a really, really big thank you to the elections committee. The elections committee members this year were our president, Michael Arway. Thank you, Michael. Rosanna Pinnington and Iris Denise Darvish, who were our Union Parliament members. Rosanna and Iris Denise, thank you so much for giving your time. And we also had 2 lay students join the elections committee as well. So we had Harpreet Sinj Naji and Robert Benson. Harpreet and Robert, thank you so much for your support. They've been very efficient. We had 1 complaint and no appeal. No appeals were brought throughout the whole election period, so very smooth. And so to that end, I'm going to give a final thank you to all the staff who have supported the election process. You know who you are. I'm not going to go into details, but the staff have worked really hard for students at the university in making sure this election runs smoothly. And you have the results that you're about to see tonight. So without further ado, let's have a look at our turnout, the number of students who voted and how many candidates we got. So as you can see on the screen here, we had 33 candidates. That's a whopping number of students putting themselves forward. Thank you to every one of the candidates who volunteered themselves to run for these positions. It's no small feat. Students have they might have jobs, they've of course got their studies, it's not exactly a quiet time of year, and students have put themselves forward, they've put together a manifesto, and clearly you can see it's had an impact on students. Over 2,500 students voted in these elections. That's a record number of votes that we've received in our election, and it represented 16% of our student body, which is 4% more than it was last year, and 5% more than the year previous. So some really good numbers there. Well done to all of the candidates for working so hard to go out there and get the vote from students. Make sure students know who you are, what you stand for, give students a really good choice when it comes to choosing who they want to represent them next year. And of course, thank you to the voters. It takes every student to dedicate the time to look at candidates, to express their votes and make sure they feel their voices heard. So really, really well done. We're next going to move on swiftly to talking about the NUS delegate elections. Oh no, we're not, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We did have a prize draw to try and incentivize results. The prize draw is real. We don't just dangle it and don't follow it up. And so as you can see here, we have £100 cash prizes were given to Nicoletta Tarika, Blessing Azur, Ianette Illy, Emma Rawlings, Margaret Zata, Wicherska, Gemma Anderson and Irina Gill. Well done for receiving £100. And the big winner was Harsh Amit Bhai Patel, £500 on the way to you. Well done for being randomly drawn out there. And my apologies to anyone who I've mispronounced your name. I had a go, and I really hope that was all right. NUS delegates. So I mentioned our NUS delegates represent BEDS-SU by attending the National Union of Students annual conference. We had 8 candidates stand altogether. We had 2 elections, an election for one position for a student identifying as a man. There were 2 candidates for that one position. And then we had 6 candidates for 2 positions for students who self-identify as women. Congratulations to all of the students who put themselves forward. I'm not going to list everybody here, save that I could get some names wrong again. The information will be published on our website, but for the time being, we will announce the winners as so. Your NUS delegates for 2021-2022 are Marlena Koku, Carol Chimombe, and Mud Sebur Rahman. Congratulations to all 3 of you, and thank you for putting yourselves forward, and good luck attending the NUS conference over the Easter break, because the conference is happening as soon as next week, so we're asking you just in time, and it'll involve a couple of days of attending speeches and sessions and listening to policies presented by national officers at the National Union of Students, and making sure that BEDS SU and the student members of BEDS SU all have their voices heard in that forum. Okay, well, without further ado, we're going to talk about the results. So what are you going to see tonight? As I mentioned earlier, we've changed the way we count the elections this year. What we've seen in the past, historically, year after year, is that we have a very high vote turnout for Luton, and then our other campuses really struggle to compare. And the reality is it's very hard to get elected if you're not from Luton. We thought that was deeply unfair. We'd looked into lots of evidence as to why this was a problem and how to go about it. And so we now have a new way of counting the elections, where each campus is worth a set number of points. Those points are allocated depending on the number of votes that students get in each campus in their election. So there are a total of 40 campus points up for grabs. The winner is the candidate with the most campus points at the end. So what we do is we count one campus at a time. So we'll count one campus. There'll be a set number of points available. And when we get the results of that campus, we'll then distribute the points for that campus. We're going to show you an example here in just a moment. As you'll see as we go through, when we get to the end of each election, there's quite often one campus point remaining, and the star indicates who that has been awarded to, and it's generally awarded to the eventual winner of the campus election each time we have it. So let's see an example of what that looks like. As you can see here, for each campus we have a set number of points. I mentioned that there were 40 points overall. So if you wanted to get 100% of votes, you would be getting 40 campus points overall. At Aylesbury, there are 2 points up for grabs, 7 points at Bedford, 5 points at Birmingham, 6 points at London Bridge, 15 points at Luton, 3 points at Milton Keynes, and 2 points at specialist sites. The allocation of points, as you can probably guess, upvotes the smaller campuses and downvotes the larger campuses. So it levels the playing field for students at different campuses, so you can each have a voice. The general rule is you can't win with just one campus. You need to be able to win multiple campuses to be able to win the role available. Here's an example of what you will see when we go through the results. In the bottom left-hand corner, it will say campus, and that will be the name of the campus that we are counting votes for. In the center of the screen, you will see how the votes are distributed. You'll see that the lines are apportioned not by number of votes, but by the number of campus points that each candidate has achieved. So in this example, what you can see is that candidate B has achieved 2 campus points. So they've had sufficient numbers of votes. On the left-hand side, you can see how many votes you need to get a campus point. Now that differs for every election. So we need to check this page each time, so it will change each time. Now in this example, there have been 100 votes and there are 5 points available. Therefore, each candidate needs 20 votes in order to win 1 campus point. As we can see, candidate B here has clearly got 40 votes and has so, or 41 votes by the looks of it, and has so been awarded 2 campus points. Campus C has achieved over 20 points and so gets a campus point as well. But candidates D and candidates A, they haven't achieved 20 votes, and so they in this particular round they haven't won any campus points. And as you can see on the left hand side, under the phrase points available in the purple box, it says campus points won. And as you'll see there, the candidates are listed, and it tells you a running tally of how many campus points have been won by students. We do eliminate candidates as we go through to find an eventual winner. But don't worry, candidates, once you've won a campus point, you can't lose it. You may be eliminated. So for example, if campus C, candidate C in this example, was to not gain any more votes in future rounds of voting, and they were eliminated, they would be eliminated from achieving further campus points, but they would keep the one that they've already achieved. Hopefully this will be clear as we go through and that you start to see. Now, when we do count the votes, remember that we are counting them using the alternative vote method. This is a very common way of counting votes. And what that means is that we have rounds or stages of voting, and that students need to have achieved a certain threshold of votes, which is, our threshold is that all the campus points have been allocated. And so we keep eliminating candidates with the lowest votes and redistributing their votes until we get a winner of each campus. As you can see in this chart here, once we've shown the final result for each campus, we'll give an update on how many campus points have been won so far. As you can see here, it's showing that candidate A has won 4, candidate B has won 2. But in the pie chart in the middle, you can see that there are 3 campuses still yet to be called. So that means that the election isn't over yet. So whilst candidate A is winning, there are still 3 more campuses to go. So there is still a chance for the other candidates to win. So there we go. Hopefully that is clear. I think we should be ready to go. If you have questions, you can put them in the Q&A. They won't come straight to me. I've got some fellow colleagues from the Students' Union who are going to be answering those questions. If there's something urgent, then they will get my attention. But otherwise, I'm just going to keep talking, and I'm going to keep presenting the results. That's because we've got a lot to get through. It's quite detailed. I apologise in advance if it's quite dry, but of course for the candidates involved, I'm sure it'll be quite exciting. So the co-vice president woman place, so we have in the changes we made to our elections this year, so we have 4 positions available. We have 2 presidents and 2 vice presidents, and they'll be sharing them, so a co-vice president and a co-president. We have, for each, we have a co-president who identifies as a woman, and then we have a co-president who identifies as a man or of non-binary gender, and it's the same for co-vice president. So in this election, we are counting the votes for the co-vice president who self-identifies as a woman. There were 5 candidates in this election: a Nadia Kiofu, Catalina, Kostadink Anastasova, Tabitha Ajao, and reopen nominations was also a candidate in this election. We abbreviate that to RON. So a Nadia, Catalina, Kostadinka, Tabitha, and Ron are our 5 candidates in this election. And so we're starting off with our specialist sites campus. So there are 7 campuses. One of those campus groups is our specialist sites. At our specialist sites, that involves some of our study centres where we don't have a formal campus that students are known to study at, and they're much smaller, so it's based on student population. But they are still members of BEDSSU and they still have a vote. In this particular election, we only got 3 votes, and they were distributed equally across 3 of the 5 candidates. So Nadia achieved 1 vote, Catalina 1 vote, and Kostadinka 1 vote. That meant that we needed to choose out of a hat because there were only 2 points available, 2 campus points available in this election, and there were no more votes to count. So we chose one name out of a hat, which eliminated one of the candidates. So that awarded the campus points to two of the other candidates. We pulled out Catalina's name, and so by luck, apologies Catalina, Nadia and Kostadinka were awarded the campus points for that election. In the event of a tie, pulling out of a hat or drawing straws or flipping a coin is actually the recommended approach to resolving the issue, as surprising as it may seem. But there are still 6 campuses to go. So Kostadinka and Nadia each have 1 point each, but there are still 38 points to win. So there's a long way to go just yet. So that was the specialist sites. Our second campus is Aylesbury. Now we got 43 votes at Aylesbury, which meant the threshold, and we had 2 campus points available, which meant the threshold for winning a point was 21.5 votes. As you can see in the first round of voting, Tabitha had enough votes to warrant being awarded 1 campus point. But we still had 2 points, another point available, and so we eliminated the 2 lowest scoring candidates who weren't able to gain an additional point. Nadia and Kostadinka were eliminated and their votes redistributed. Tabitha received additional votes, but not sufficient to be able to be awarded an additional campus point. Now, we couldn't eliminate any further, and so the final campus point went to the winning candidate, which meant that Tabitha won 2 campus points from Aylesbury at the end of the second round of voting. So with 5 campuses still to go, you can see here that Tabitha's now gone into the lead with 2 points, 2 campus points, Kostadinka on 1 and Nadia on 1, and Catalina still to achieve 1, but 5 campuses still to go. Okay, our third campus is London Bridge. There are 6 points available at London Bridge. Over 1,400 students study there. We achieved 214 votes in the first round of voting. How were they disseminated? Well, we had 6 points available and the threshold for getting a vote was 35.6 votes. You can see here in the first round of voting, Catalina was awarded 2 points and Tabitha was awarded 2 points also. Kostadinka was awarded 1 point, so 5 points were distributed in the first round of voting, but there's still 1 point available. So we continued into a next stage and we eliminated the lower scoring candidates who weren't able to, who wouldn't be able to achieve any more points. Once those votes were redistributed, we saw Catalina catch up the vote and actually exceed the voter percentage, so was awarded the final point. So in this election, Catalina won 3 campus points at the end of the election. Kostadinka won 1 and Tabitha won 2. How does that look? So we're a quarter of the way through the results for this election, still 4 campuses to go. We can see that Tabitha's in the lead with 4, Catalina's caught up with 3, Kostadinka 2, and Nadia has 1 campus point. Okay, our 4th campus is Milton Keynes for the position of co-vice president, self-identifying woman. There were 3 points available at the Milton Keynes campus. In the first round of voting, where the threshold for any 1 campus point was 33 votes, we saw that Catalina was the only candidate who reached the threshold to be awarded a campus point. As there were still 2 points available, we started eliminating candidates with the lowest votes. So Ron and Nadia's votes were redistributed and added to the totals of the remaining candidates. There were still insufficient votes to reallocate the remaining campus points, and so Kostadinka's votes were then redistributed as the lowest scoring candidate remaining. And as you can see, the votes were sufficient to allow Tabitha to achieve a point from the Milton Keynes election. Catalina was the winning candidate, didn't quite make it to 2 points, but we still had a point available. And so that final point was awarded to Catalina as the winning candidate in that round. And so well done to Catalina for winning the Milton Keynes vote with 2 points. As you can see here, in total, we now have a running total, still 3 campuses to go. Tabitha is on 5 campus points, drawing with Catalina on 5 campus points, Kostadinka on 2, and Nadia on 1. Okay, we now go to Birmingham, the Birmingham campus. There were 145 valid votes in this election. The threshold for gaining a point was 29 votes because there were 5 campus points available to be won at this campus. As we can see in the chart in front of you, Catalina and Tabitha both exceeded the threshold for a campus point and so were awarded 1 campus point each in the first round of voting. As there were still 3 campus points remaining, we eliminated the lowest scoring candidates, that was Ron and Nadia, and redistributed their votes across the remaining candidates as to their subsequent preferences. As you can see, Kostadinka achieved sufficient votes to be awarded another campus point for Birmingham, and Catalina achieved an additional campus point for Birmingham because Catalina met the threshold for 2 campus points, as you can see here. So there was still 1 point available, so we redistributed Kostadinka's votes. And in that case, we see that Catalina has won we can see that Tabitha has breached the threshold for 2 campus points and so is awarded an additional campus point. And so in this situation, we see that Tabitha and Catalina both awarded 2 campus points. Kostadinka was awarded 1 campus point from the Birmingham campus. With 2 campuses left to go, we see we're still in a draw with Catalina and Tabitha. Very close race, nail-biting stuff. Okay, so our penultimate campus in our count is Bedford. There are 7 points available at the Bedford campus. In the first round of voting, we see that the threshold for winning a campus point is 20.5 votes or 21 votes. In the first round of voting, we see that Tabitha and Catalina both meet the threshold to win points. Tabitha is awarded 3 points and Catalina is awarded 2 points. There were still 2 points remaining at the Bedford campus, and so we eliminated the candidates with the fewest votes. And so Nadia, Ron, and Kostadinka, who weren't able to match the other candidates, were eliminated, and additional points were awarded. And that resulted in an additional point being awarded to Tabitha. And so we saw that with final points won, we saw 3 points awarded to Catalina and 4 points to Tabitha at the end of that round because Tabitha won the popular vote. So all 7 campus points awarded between Catalina and Tabitha, with Tabitha pipping Catalina in a close-knit race to get 4 points to Catalina's 3. What does that do to the final totals? It's still very, very close. One campus point in it at the top there. The final campus is still unassigned, and that is Luton, and there are 15 points available at that campus. So in many respects, it can still be won by anyone. But we've had a really good showing, as you can see. We go into the final round. There were 1,578 votes at the Luton campus. It's a huge campus, and there were 15 points available. To gain 1 campus point, you needed to achieve over 105 votes. As we see in the first round, Catalina achieved 6 points. Tabitha achieved 3 campus points. Kostadinka also achieved 3 campus points, and Nadia achieved 1 campus point. Ron, reopened nominations, didn't achieve any points and so was eliminated because there were still campus points available. In the second round of voting, both Ron and Nadia were eliminated and their votes redistributed, which saw Catalina achieve another campus point and bring their total to 7, and also Tabitha hanging in there. Kostadinka just shy of another campus point, but Tabitha awarded an additional campus point to bring their total to 4. Which means that all the points have now been allocated. So the final result is now shown on the screen. Really, really close race. It doesn't get much closer than that. You can see Nadia in 4th place on 2 campus points. Kostadinka in 3rd place on 6 campus points. Tabitha achingly close in 2nd place on 15 points. But congratulations to Catalina for achieving the position of co-vice president, self-identifying woman for the next academic year, 21-22. Kathleen Anita, hand clap to you. Well done for winning a very close and hard-fought election. And it must be said, congratulations to everybody involved in that election. Really exciting stuff. What a way to kick it off. Okay, we're going to move swiftly on. I'm sorry that I can't spend time to celebrate, but that's not my role. Hopefully we'll have some speeches and things that come and get produced after the results have been released today. So over the next week, you'll hear more about who your elected team are going to be, and you'll hear from them, I'm sure. So next, let's move on to the co-vice president position. And this position is for a self-identifying man or someone of non-binary gender. There were 8 candidates in this election, a very big election. We had Chibik, Dylan Cox, Hafija Shuvo, Jigar Patel, Moazem Hussain, Waqas Ahmed, Yogesh Krishna Baragi, and reopened nominations was also a candidate, the 8th candidate in this election. We abbreviate that to Ron. So Ron is a candidate in every election. It just means that anyone who's filling out their ballot paper has the option to say, I don't want any candidate, I'd like to reopen the nominations. And so that's who Ron is in this election. We are starting off with Aylesbury campus, the first of 7 campuses. Here we go. There are 2 campus points available at Aylesbury, and there were 42 votes. As you can see, in the first round of voting, no candidate achieved the threshold of 21 votes to be able to be awarded one of the 2 campus points. And so we had to start eliminating candidates. Chibik and Dylan had the lion's share of the votes and were closest to gaining a campus point, and the remaining candidates didn't really have the chance to catch them up. They were eliminated in further rounds of voting and their votes redistributed. And as you can see, Dylan ended up being the candidate at the final round of voting who managed to achieve 1 campus point. Because Dylan is the winner of the popular vote, Dylan also wins the final campus point available for Aylesbury. So well done to Dylan for winning the Aylesbury campus vote. You're off the mark first. We have 6 campuses still to go. As you saw in the last election, lots of campus points still to be won, but Dylan gets us off raring to go with 2 points. So this will mix things up, I'm sure. So Luton, being a huge campus, has lots of points, and so that's going to turn that pie chart pretty fast. We have 15 campus points available at Luton. There were nearly 1,700 votes, that were posted at the Luton campus. This meant that there needed to be 112 votes. You needed 112 votes to win a single campus point. And so how did that align? Well, very well, actually. So in the first round of voting, we see that quite a few candidates got points. Chibik was awarded 2 campus points, Dylan 3 campus points, Hafija achieved 1 campus point, Jigar achieved 3 campus points, Moazem did not achieve campus points and neither did Ron, and then Waqas and Yogesh each achieved a campus point each. So a few candidates off the mark there. Obviously, we still had campus points available. I think that's correct. Just need to 9, 10. 11. Yeah, we had 4 campus points available, so we needed to eliminate candidates. As you see, Moazem and Ron, without a campus point, were eliminated first. When their votes were redistributed, as you can see, it didn't add to anyone's tally to give them an additional campus point. And so further candidates needed to be eliminated. So Yogesh was eliminated in the ahead of the 3rd round of voting, and then tallies were added up. As you can see here, Waqas gained an additional campus point, so now has 2 campus points from that election. Dylan also exceeded the threshold for an additional campus point, and so moved up to 4. We still had a couple of campus points available, so we needed to eliminate further candidates, as the lowest scoring candidate, Haffidge's votes, were then redistributed across the remaining candidates. As you can see, Waqas gained further votes from that process and so exceeded the threshold again for a second campus point. There was still one more campus point available, and you can see Jigar achieved that campus point, was awarded an additional number 4 campus points. So we had, at the end of that round, at the end of that election, sorry, we saw that Dylan and Jigar both achieved 4 campus points. Chibuk achieved 3, and Waqas achieved 2. And we had Yogesh and Haffidge still had one campus point each. That really puts the cat amongst the pigeons, as you'll see. A close race still. We've got Dylan in the lead on 6 with 5 campuses to go. In second place is Jigar, followed by Chibuk, and then by Waqas, and then Haffidge and Yogesh tied in 6th place, with Moazem still ready to get off the mark with Ron. Okay, let's move to our next campus. We're now at the Bedford campus. There are 7 points available at the Bedford campus. I'm sure this will help move things along and help some candidates get in the lead if they want to. There were 145 votes, which meant every candidate needed 21 votes to be awarded a campus point. As you can see in the bar chart in front of you, 2 candidates in the first round of voting achieved campus points. Chibuk was awarded 1 campus point, having met the threshold, whereas Dylan met the threshold for 3 campus points in the first round of voting. However, there was still 3 campus points available, so we started eliminating candidates, and because of the disparity in numbers of votes, a number of candidates were eliminated. So we see that Ron, Waqas, Yogesh and Jigar were all eliminated and their votes redistributed. At that point, Haffidge gained sufficient votes to be awarded a campus point, and so was awarded an additional campus point at that point. But there were still campus points remaining, still one more to go, and so we then redistributed Moazem and Haffidge's votes, because neither of them would have been able to achieve any more campus points. And once they were redistributed amongst the remaining candidates of Chibuk and Dylan, the final campus point was awarded to Dylan, who was the popular vote winner at that campus. So congratulations for Dylan for winning another campus. You've got Bedford on your mark sheet. And as we can see here, Dylan has stepped into the lead by a margin of 5 votes. So Dylan's in first place with 10, followed behind by Chibuk with 5 campus points, closely then by Jigar on 4. And then we've got Waqas and Haffidge here drawing on 2. We still have 4 campuses to go. We're over halfway through the campus points, but things could still change as yet. We're now going to go to Milton Keynes, where there are 3 campus points available. 97 students voted in this election, and that meant that candidates needed 33 votes to be able to win a single campus point. In the first round of voting, as you can see in front of you, Dylan breached the threshold for a vote, for a campus point, sorry, and was awarded 1 campus point. But there were still 2 campus points available, and so we started eliminating candidates. A number of candidates were eliminated in the first round, going into the second round. So we redistributed the available votes. However, that did not result in further candidates being awarded any further points. I think with Dylan running away, it meant that the number of votes available was slim. However, once we redistributed Haffidge's votes, as you can see on the chart in front of you, the majority of those went to Dylan, which meant that Dylan then was awarded the second campus point of 3. As the popular vote winner, Dylan was also awarded the 3rd campus point as well. So well done to Dylan for winning another campus and extending your lead at Milton Keynes. So as we see now, Dylan is on 13 campus points, really pulling away there. Let's see what the other campuses can do to help the other candidates try and catch up. So LSE Birmingham, let's have a look at the votes here. We had 5 campus points available at this campus. 139 valid votes meant that the threshold for a single campus point was 28 votes. In the first round of voting, we saw that Dillon and Chibok both exceeded the threshold and were awarded a single campus point, but there were still 3 campus points available. So we had to start eliminating candidates who had the lowest number of votes. And when we eliminate candidates, just so you know, what we do is we take, when students were asked to vote, they were asked to vote in order. So you vote with your first preference, second preference, third preference. And so when we eliminate candidates, we then eliminate to the next preference, and then that's how we redistribute to the remaining candidates. As you can see, when we redistributed the votes from Jigar, Moazem, Yogesh and Ron, Waqas achieved sufficient votes in the second round to be awarded a campus point. Well done, Waqas. And so that meant there were still 2 campus points available out of a possible 5. We then redistributed the lowest, the candidate with the lowest number of votes, and additional votes went to Dillon in that process. So Dillon was awarded another campus point. So well done, Dillon, for getting 2 campus points at LSE Birmingham. Waqas had the lowest number of votes in the final round of voting, so we redistributed Waqas's votes. As you can see, that pulled Chibok up just enough to be awarded a second campus point. And so the final tally was that Waqas had 1 campus point, Dillon 2 campus points, and Chibok also 2 campus points, just in time there before the end of the election. Well done, Chibok. Dillon's lead still fairly strong there, with Chibok in second on 7. We have 2 more campuses to go. The penultimate campus in this count is London Bridge. There were 205 votes at this campus, and there are 6 points available, which meant that candidates needed 34 votes for each single campus point that they were to win. In the first round of voting, 2 points were distributed. So Chibok and Dillon exceeded the threshold for a campus point, and so were awarded a campus point each. None of the other campus candidates achieved sufficient votes to be awarded a campus point. We still had points available, still 4, so we started eliminating. As you can see here, Jigar, Yogesh and Ron's votes were eliminated and redistributed. That was not sufficient for any further campus. Oh no, it was sufficient for Dillon to win a further campus point. So 3 points were now had now been won at the campus, and there were 3 points available. So we then redistributed Hafija and Moazem, and in that process, when we redistributed their votes, Waqas gained enough redistributed votes to win a campus point. So Dillon was on 2. Chibok also achieved enough to get 2 campus points as well. So Chibok had 2, Dillon had 2, and Waqas had 1. There was still 1 point available, and so Waqas, with the lowest number of votes still remaining in the process, his votes were redistributed, and that took Dillon's share of the vote above the 3 campus point threshold. So well done, Dillon, for winning that campus 2. Close race in the end, Chibok very, very close. So the final tally for London Bridge was Dillon on 3, Chibok on 2, and Waqas on 1. And so we have 1 more campus to go, and as you can see, it looks fairly clear who's going to win this election. But we have distribution across most of the candidates here of votes, so really well done to everybody so far. But 1 campus to go, every vote counts. Let's see the results in the final campus. The final campus was our specialist sites. We only had 3 votes at this campus, and almost ring true with the election that we've seen so far for this position. Congratulations to Dillon, who was awarded both points from the specialist sites, having got all 3 votes at that campus. So as you can see, the final result takes Dillon's tally up to 20. Dillon achieved half of the total points available. Really congratulations, Dillon, and commiserations to Chibok, Hafija, Jigar, Moazem, Waqas and Yogesh for putting in a good innings. You did really, really well. The campus system is looking to really show its work. Dillon won votes at every campus. Well done. Congratulations. Look forward to working with you, Dillon, a member of student staff at the SU as well. So well done for winning the position of co-vice president, self-identifying man or non-binary for 21-22. Okay, we are now into the final two positions, halfway through. We're first going to count the votes for co-president, self-identifying man or person of non-binary gender. There were 7 candidates in this election. Alessandro Manea, Bilal Munawar, Nahum Robinson, Quadri Yusuf, Sajid Mohammed, Sumon, and Ron. So Ron, as I mentioned earlier, stands for Reopen Nominations, and we treat Ron as a virtual candidate in any of our elections. Good luck, everybody. Let's see how we go. Our first campus of 7. Remember, first campus of 7, so quite a few to go. I hope you're all getting the hang of this by now. And if anyone's wondering, yes, it takes a really long time to count all the votes. So Aylesbury, we're in the first round of voting. There are 2 campus points available at Aylesbury. There were 46 votes, and so the threshold for winning a single campus point was 23 votes. In the first round of voting, just to say there's an error on the screen. This is co-president self-identifying man, not co-president self-identifying woman. There's a typo on the screen. So just to, I lost my train of thought by zeroing in on that. Okay, so in the first round of voting, as you can see, Quadri gained enough votes to win a single campus point, but there was still 1 campus point remaining out of the 2 available at Aylesbury. So we redistributed votes of the candidates with the lowest number of votes. So as you can see, Bilal, Sajid, Sumon and Ron all had low numbers of votes, so their votes were redistributed, as was Nahum's, because Nahum wouldn't have been able to beat any of the other candidates, even if the votes were transferred. You can see that the lion's share of the votes went to Quadri, and that was the final round of voting. And so whilst there was still a campus point available, as the winner of the popular vote, Quadri was awarded the final point. So well done to Quadri for winning both campus points at Aylesbury. Flying start for Quadri Yusuf there. But as has become the fashion, we still have 6 campuses to go. Let's go to Bedford. There are 7 campus points available at Bedford and 169 valid votes at that campus. So candidates required 24 votes to be awarded a single campus point. In the first round of voting, we saw that Alessandro, Nahum and Quadri all reached the threshold for at least 1 campus point. Alessandro was awarded 1, and Nahum and Quadri reached the threshold for 2. There was still 2 campus points available, and so we eliminated the lowest scoring candidates. And so we eliminated all 4 of Bilal, Sajid, Sumon and Ron. As you can see, when we redistributed those votes, it didn't change the picture of campus points. Still, no one met the threshold to be awarded an additional campus point. Alessandro is achingly close there, but as the lowest scoring candidate at that point in the election, in the following round of voting, the 3rd round, Alessandro's votes were redistributed, as you can see, in a very, very tight election. Both Nahum and Quadri exceeded the threshold for an additional vote. So Nahum and Quadri, well done for each winning 3 campus points. I mentioned earlier that no one loses a campus point, of course. So Alessandro still retains that single campus point that he won in the first round. There are 5 campuses still to go, so lots still to play for, not quite a quarter of the way through. 3rd campus in this election for co-president, self-identifying man or non-binary. We're at Birmingham. Birmingham had 168 valid votes and there were 5 points available. So candidates needed 34 votes they needed to exceed 33 votes, sorry, to be awarded a single campus point. In the first round of voting, Alessandro quick off the mark with 2 campus points and Quadri achieved 1 campus point. That meant 3 of the 5 had been taken, 2 still remained. And so to allocate the additional campus points, we redistributed the lowest scoring candidates so far. As you can see, when we redistributed those votes, no candidate achieved additional votes that pushed them over the threshold for another campus point. And so we had to eliminate again. And so Sajid's votes were eliminated. And in that case, we saw that votes were distributed to both candidates, but sufficient enough for Quadri to exceed the threshold for another campus point. There was still one campus point available though, and with Alessandro being the popular vote winner with the most votes, the final campus point was awarded to Alessandro. Just to clarify, when we award the final point to the winner of the popular vote, what we haven't been mentioning is that we do a runoff, and we do a virtual runoff to just check that that is a valid decision to make. And we didn't come up to, in every election that we run that, we didn't come up with any reason why the final point shouldn't go to the leading candidate. So if anyone's wondering whether that was an arbitrary thing to do, actually it is valid in terms of the vote count process. So after 3 campuses, we see that Alessandro is in second place with Quadri in first place on 7 points, and Nahum in third place on 3 points. Okay, we are now almost halfway through. So we're at London Bridge for the co-president self-identified man and non-binary election. There were 227 valid votes. At this campus, there are 6 campus points available. The threshold for campus points was 38 votes. In the first round of voting, we see that 2 candidates exceeded that threshold. Alessandro exceeded it sufficiently to be awarded 1 campus point. Quadri achieved 2 campus points in the first round of voting. There were still 3 campus points available though, and so we eliminated the lowest, the candidates with the lowest number of votes. That was Sumon, Ron, and Bilal, if my memory serves me right. Oh no, just Sumon and Ron. And so we redistributed their votes, but as you can see, it was not sufficient for any candidate to be awarded an additional point. We then redistributed Bilal's votes as the next lowest scoring candidate, and that pushed Alessandro over the threshold to be awarded an additional point. So at this point, the third round of voting, Alessandro has just got 2 campus points, and Quadri has 2 campus points still as well. We still have 2 campus points to give out. And so we then eliminated the candidate with the lowest votes. As Nahum was no longer in the running to win this race, Nahum and Sajid were both eliminated, and campus points were redistributed to the 2 remaining candidates, Alessandro and Quadri. As you can see, Quadri exceeded the threshold for a 3rd campus point, and as the winner of the popular vote, Quadri was also awarded the 4th campus point for that campus as well. Well done, Quadri. So out of the 6 points available at London Bridge, Quadri walked away with 4 campus points, and Alessandro gained 2. You can see what that's done with the scorings halfway through. Alessandro on 6, Nahum on 3, and Quadri on 11, with no campus points as yet for Bilal, Sajid, Sumon, or Ron. So 3 campuses still to go. Right, we've got to Luton, the biggie, 15 points, so lots to get here. And we can see already in the bar chart that everybody's done well for votes here. There were 1,746 votes, and with 15 points available, that meant that each candidate needed to achieve over 116 points, over 116 votes to win a single point. In the first round of voting, we see that Alessandro achieved sufficient votes to be awarded 4 campus points. Quadri came second in the first round of voting, achieving enough votes for 3 campus points, as did Nahum, who also won 3 campus points in that round. There was also a campus point for Sajid, well done, and Bilal, very, very close there, but not quite as yet. So we then redistributed votes from the candidates with the lowest number of votes. The candidate with the lowest number of votes was Ron. Ron's votes were redistributed, but that did not change the outcome very much so far. So whilst votes were redistributed, it didn't result in any additional campus points. We then redistributed votes of Sumon as the next lowest scoring candidate. And again, we didn't see that the redistributed votes allowed any existing candidate to breach the threshold for a further campus points. So we had to eliminate further. So in the next round of voting, the fourth round, we eliminated Bilal, and we also eliminated Sajid as the two candidates who were no longer in the running at that stage. Their votes were redistributed, and that saw the number. I'm just checking the number of votes, make sure I don't lose count. 7, 8, 9. So we still had quite a few votes to win at this campus. So still 6 points to. No, that's not correct. Still 3 points to go, and we hadn't added any more campus points. So in this stage, we see that Alessandro reached threshold for an additional campus point, so made his way to 5. Nahum and Quadri also achieved an additional campus point from the previous elimination, which brought them up to 4. So at the fourth round of voting, so it's quite a long election, this one. Alessandro was on 5, Nahum on 4, Quadri on 4, and Bilal and Sajid, who had thus far been eliminated, retained their single votes. There was still campus points available though, and so we eliminated Nahum in the next round of voting to take it to the 5th round.
No, that's all the points done, I think.
Oh, sorry, thank you. That's I thought I was counting, and I'm trying to do too many things at once. Sorry about that, everybody. I thought I'd not counted 15, but there are 15 votes, 15 campus points right there. You can see them. Thanks very much, Amy. So what does this do to the scoring? It's actually narrowed the gap. Well done, Alessandro, who looks to be hot on the heels of Quadri. With 2 campuses yet to go, it's still in sight it's still a race. We've got Quadri and Alessandro in front. Quadri in first place with 15 so far, Alessandro with 11, and then we've got Nahum on 7, Bilal and Sajid with 1 campus point each. Okay, we've got 2 campuses to go. The penultimate campus to count in this election is Milton Keynes. We still have our 8 candidates. There were 107 votes each, and there were 3 points available. 3 points available at Milton Keynes. And a reminder, the number of points available at campuses generally relates to the number of students who are at that campus. They are proportionately weighted depending on their voting strength as well. So we upvote the smaller campuses, downvote the larger campus of Luton. Okay, so 3 points available at Milton Keynes. In the first round of voting, only Alessandro gained enough votes, first preference votes, to be awarded a single campus point. Still 2 campus points available, so we needed to start eliminating candidates in a further round. In the second round, we actually eliminated all of the other candidates barring Quadri. Quadri gained the lion's share of those second preference and third preference votes and achieved enough to win a campus point. Well done, Quadri. However, with Alessandro being the outright winner of that campus, Alessandro was awarded the final campus point available. So well done, Alessandro, for walking away with 2 points out of the 3 from Milton Keynes. So 1 more campus to go. Alessandro is on 13 points, Bilal on 1, Nahum on 7, Quadri on 16, Sajid on 1, Suman on 0, and Ron on 0 as well. So the final campus to count is our specialist sites. There are only 4 votes, 4 valid votes at this campus, but there were 2 points available, so a very high scoring campus. The votes were equally distributed between Nahum and Quadri, and therefore the campus points are equally distributed with 1 each to Nahum and Quadri. So congratulations to Nahum and Quadri for gaining the 2 campus points at the specialist sites, which means that we do have a winner. Congratulations to Quadri for winning the results, winning the election of co-president of BEDS-SU, self-identifying man, non-binary, for the 2021-22 year. So Quadri Yusuf will be the co-president for next academic year of BEDS-SU. Congratulations. And of course, commiserations to all the candidates. It was another close race, and clearly candidates have got the attention of voters across all of our campuses, which is really quite amazing. And don't forget, this was a record-breaking year for the number of votes that we achieved. So really is testament to the candidates who've worked so hard to present themselves to fellow students. Okay, so we've had 3 elections so far. It feels like we've had about 50, but that's because we have one for every campus. So we're in the final 7 campuses, 1 more position to elect. So we're electing here for the co-president position of students who self-identify as a woman. We had 4 candidates in this election. The 4 candidates were Navia, Laura Tamara, Jacqueline Bunting, and as in all our elections, reopen nominations, or Ron was a candidate in this election, so was one of our 4 candidates. We're going to start off with Luton, with the 15 points available at Luton. There were over 1,600 votes at Luton, 15 points available. It meant that candidates required over 109 votes to be awarded a single campus point. In the first round of voting, you see that Navia has been awarded, she had sufficient votes to be awarded 8 campus points. Laura was in 2nd place in the first round of voting and was awarded 3 campus points. Jacqueline achieved sufficient votes to be awarded a single campus point, very shy of 2, nearly there. And reopen nominations, unfortunately, as seems to have been Ron's day. Ron hasn't had a good day. I don't think Ron's achieved a campus point just yet. So Ron is on 0 as we move into the 2nd round. So there were still campus points available. We're on 12, so 3 points available. So we redistributed Ron's votes. That meant that an additional campus point was awarded to Navia. So Ron didn't get a vote themselves, but their 2nd preference vote allowed Navia to just inch into the 9th campus point from Luton. We still had, I think, 2 campus points left. I think that's, no, 1 campus point left to go. And so, of course, we were at the end of the round. And so that final campus point was awarded to Navia. You can tell that I'm not very good at doing maths whilst trying to speak. So thanks for your patience there. So a resounding result for Navia and Luton. Congratulations there, Navia. Very strong performance and clearly students taking to you there. So at the first campus, there's still 6 campuses to go, still 2/3 of the campus points to be allocated. But at the end of the first campus at Luton, we see that Navia's in the lead, strong start on 10 campus points. Laura in 2nd place with 3, Jacqueline in 3rd place with 2, and Ron in last place with 0. Okay, onwards to Bedford. All things looking a bit different here. We had 145 votes at the first round of counting in the Bedford election for the co-president self-identifying woman position. There were 7 points available, which meant the threshold for votes was 20.71. So candidates needed to achieve in excess of 20 votes to be awarded a single campus point. As you can see, Laura Tamara wins 4 campus points in the first round of voting, followed by Jacqueline Bunting, who achieved 1 campus point. So there were 5 points distributed in the first round of voting, still 2 to go. That meant that there were points available and we redistributed the votes of both Ron and Navia. This meant that actually the reallocated votes brought Laura Tamara up to an additional campus point, and Jacqueline Bunting was just shy of 2, so still on 1. And just to make it clear, there was no rounding up. You have to achieve a threshold in order to be awarded the vote until we can eliminate no further. In this election, we could eliminate no further. So the final 7th campus point was awarded to the popular winner of the campus, which was Laura Tamara. Congratulations, Laura, who won the Bedford campus with 6 campus points, followed by Jacqueline with 1. That changes the standings quite a bit. There's still 5 campuses to go, but over half of the campus points have now been allocated in this final election. Navia's in the lead on 10, Laura with 9, Jacqueline with 3 campus points, and Ron still struggling to get off the mark. The next campus we're counting is LSE Birmingham. There are 5 campus points available. 146 students voted at this campus, and so candidates needed to achieve over 29 votes to be awarded a campus point. In the first round of voting, you can see that 4 campus points were awarded, 2 to Navia and 2 to Laura Tamara. Laura is just inching ahead there, slightly more votes than Navia, but both of them breached the threshold to be awarded 2 campus points. There was still a campus point available, and so we redistributed votes from the remaining candidates who weren't able to win more campus points. Once we redistributed those votes, neither of the remaining candidates had sufficient votes to be awarded an additional point, and so the winner of the popular vote, Laura Tamara, was awarded the final campus point for that campus. So well done, Laura. You walk away from Birmingham with 3 campus points and Navia with 2. And 2/3 of the way through all of the campus points available, 40 campus points available overall, we see that there's a tie at the leaderboard. Navia on 12 and Laura on 12 and Jacqueline on 3 in 3rd place. And there are still 4 campuses to go. Okay, so 4 campuses to go. London Bridge, here we are. 6 points were available. 6 campus points can be won at London Bridge. 212 votes were cast. Candidates needed to reach a threshold of 35 votes for a single campus point. As you can see in the first round of voting, both Navia and Laura Tamara had sufficient votes to be awarded 2 campus points. Laura Tamara just shy of a 3rd campus point, but not quite there. And so at the end of the first round, we still had 2 points available. We therefore redistributed the votes of Jacqueline and Ron, which then increased the vote tallies of both candidates. However, it was sufficient for Laura Tamara to be awarded an additional point, which meant that Laura Tamara at the second round stood on 3 campus points and Navia on 2. We could eliminate no further, and so the final campus point was awarded to the winner of the campus election, which was Laura Tamara. Congratulations, Laura, for winning another campus. At the end of that campus election, Laura Tamara is awarded 4 campus points and Navia 2 campus points. As you can see from the pie chart in front of you, that means that Laura has pulled into the lead with 2 campus points with 3 campuses left to go. Still everything to play for. Milton Keynes is our next campus. There were 100 valid votes at this campus with 3 points available, and so candidates needed at least 33 votes to be awarded a single point. In the first round of voting, only 1 campus point was awarded, and that went to Navia. Congratulations to Navia for getting that point in the first round. We still had 2 points available, and so we had to redistribute the votes from the lower scoring candidates. Jacqueline and Ron's votes were redistributed across both candidates. That meant that Laura Tamara's vote tally was increased sufficiently to be awarded a campus point. So well done, Laura. But with the winner of the campus vote being Navia, Navia was awarded the final 3rd campus point for that campus. So at Milton Keynes, we saw Navia awarded 2 of the 3 points and Laura Tamara awarded 1 of the 3. An incredibly tight race here, so close. I can't imagine how this feels for candidates and the students involved. So we see with 2 campuses left to go, still 2 campuses to go, Navia is on 16 campus points, Laura Tamara is on 17, and Jacqueline Bunting on 3. Ron still hanging in there, hoping to get a campus point at some point. Let's go to our penultimate campus. So in the first round of voting at Aylesbury, the Aylesbury campus has 2 points attached to it. There were 45 votes, which meant the threshold for votes for a campus point was 22 votes. So you needed to exceed that to be awarded a campus point. In the first round of voting, only Laura Tamara achieved sufficient votes to be awarded a point. There was still 1 point available, and so the votes of the remaining candidates, of the lower scoring candidates, were redistributed. So that was Jacqueline Bunting. we see that there are only 2 candidates left, so we can't eliminate any further. And so the final candidate point went to the winner of that campus, which was Laura Tamara. So congratulations, Laura, for winning both campus points available at Aylesbury. So you can see here now that Laura has gone into the lead with 3 campus points, with 1 campus left to go. The final campus to count is the specialist sites, and symbolic of the lead and where the election seemed to be going in the final leg. There were 3 votes, of which Laura Tamara achieved all votes at that campus, and so Laura Tamara is duly awarded winner of the specialist sites, and that seals the election for Laura Tamara with 21 campus points. Congratulations, Laura. Commiserations to Navia and Jacqueline. Navia, you scored incredibly well, and kept Laura on her toes, but congratulations to Laura Tamara. You have duly been elected co-president, self-identifying woman for the next academic year, 2021-22. Incredible exposure across all the campuses. And so you have it, here you are, your elected officer team for 2021-22 is Laura Tamara, co-president, Quadri Yusuf, co-president, Catalina Nita, co-vice president, and Dylan Cox, co-vice president. Congratulations to the winning candidates. Commiserations to those candidates who weren't walking away with the winning result today. Everyone's tried really, really hard. It's been an incredibly difficult time to be a candidate in an election. You can't get on campuses, you can't meet students face to face. So it's incredibly impressive that as a whole, the candidates managed to realise one of the biggest votes I think we've seen at Bedfordshire. So it's really telling how engaged students have been in what you've been promoting, you know, what you stand for. And also, each one of the winning candidates you see in front of you won votes across all of the campuses. That's never happened before at Beds SU, so congratulations to all the winning candidates and everyone who took part, because we've seen incredible engagement across all of our campuses, and it's definitely something to work from and build upon in future. That comes to the end of the results presentation. Thanks for watching and listening to me talk a lot. I know it's been a lot of detail. Hopefully appreciate that. That's what comes with the elections, especially when we have so many elections to count. I'm going to just say congratulations to the winners once again. Big hand clap and thank you to everybody involved, particularly elections committee and all of the candidates, and to staff involved as well. Really look forward to seeing the new team get into office, but they're not in yet. We still have a terrific team working on behalf of students at the moment. Remember, you can always get in touch with your executive officers and your SU. Head to the website bedssu.co.uk and you'll be able to contact us. Over the weekend, we'll be updating our website with the results information. We probably won't do that until Monday, being that it's Friday evening, but we will be posting the details of the results. If you would like that information sooner rather than later, please get in touch. You can email us, you can get in touch on chat on the website, and we'll get in touch with you once we've uploaded the results. Okay, thanks very much everybody, and I think we're going to stop recording and close our results tonight for another year. And again, congratulations to everyone involved and well done everyone for voting.